She didn't leave because you were weak. She left because you let her believe you were. No contact. That's the warm-up. If you want to truly crush an ego and more, importantly reclaim your life, you must do something far rarer. Disappear, then return as proof. Listen, I'm not talking about petty revenge. I'm talking about a quiet, unavoidable transformation that makes her regret like a slow burn. Stay with me. When men hear no contact, they imagine magic. Cut her off, sit in the dark, wait for remorse. They block, they ghost, they rehearse the moment she cries and begs. Thing is, that story belongs to men who never learnt how to grow. Silence without change. It's fuel for her pride. She pictures you broken. She pictures you stuck. That's what ego eats. So what really breaks it? Visibility, momentum, and unshakable calm. Not to make her suffer, to make you unbreakable. Here's how. 1. Rebuild publicly. Don't hide in silence. Most men believe silence is strength. They go no contact, block her number, stop posting online, and vanish into thin air, thinking this is power. They imagine her lying awake at night, missing them. They imagine her scrolling through old pictures, crying. But let me tell you something straight. When you disappear completely, her ego doesn't collapse. It expands because now she writes her own story about you. And the story she tells herself is brutal. He's broken without me. He can't handle life without me. He's weak. That's why he's hiding. And once that story gets planted in her head, she feeds on it like oxygen. That's why silence alone is never enough. If you want to truly crush her ego, you don't just vanish. You reappear, not as the same man, but as someone new, and you do it publicly. You let the world see the growth she thought would never happen. This isn't about pretending or showing off. It's about real transformation. It's about Biko. Ming, the man you should have been, the man you lost in that relationship, the man she never thought you'd rise into. Think about it. If you hit the gym every morning and nobody knows, that's great for you. But when you share even a glimpse of your discipline, a better physique, sharper clothes, a new routine, it becomes a statement. She can't rewrite that. She can't lie to herself when the proof is right there. Visibility is the weapon. Silence can be twisted. Growth can't. Picture this. Months after the breakup, she stumbles across you. Maybe on social media, maybe through a mutual friend. And instead of the broken version she expected, she sees a man standing taller, smiling, wider, looking sharper. That's when her ego feels the sting, because deep down she wanted you to crumble. She wanted proof that she was your peak. But instead she sees you were only beginning. And let me be clear, you're not doing this for her. You're not posting, building, and leveling up to impress her. That energy is weak. You're doing it for yourself. You're doing it because you refuse to stay broken. But the side effect, and it's a sweet one, is that she can't escape it. She has to see it. She has to face it. That's why disappearing into the shadows doesn't work. You must reappear in the light. Better, sharper, calmer, stronger. That's how you flip the script. That's how you stop feeding her ego and start starving it. Because the truth is, silence isn't what destroys pride. Reinvention does. And when the world sees you rise, she sees it too. And in that moment, she realizes she didn't leave behind a broken man. She left behind the upgraded version she never thought you'd become. 2. Build the body. Visible change speaks loudest. The body never lies. You can fake a smile. You can act like you're okay. You can even stay silent and convince the world you've moved on. But your body always tells the truth. It shows whether you've been broken or rebuilt. And women notice. They notice posture. They notice the light in your eyes. They notice the way you walk into a room. After a breakup, most men let themselves go. They skip the gym. They eat out of stress. They carry themselves with slouched shoulders and tired energy. And guess what? That only feeds her ego. She thinks, look at him. He's falling apart without me. That image makes her feel superior. It convinces her that she was the best you ever had. But when you train your body, everything changes. You start lifting weights, running, eating clean, sleeping better. Not for her, but for yourself. Every rep is more than a rep. It's a message. Every drop of sweat says, I refuse to stay the man you left. Discipline becomes your new language. Months later, she sees you again, and instead of weakness, she sees strength. Instead of tired eyes, she sees energy. Instead of slouched shoulders, she sees a man standing tall. That stings her pride because now her story doesn't fit. She can't tell herself you're broken. The proof says otherwise. Here's the truth. Women are wired to notice physical changes. They can't ignore it. When you look healthier, sharper, and more disciplined, it sends a silent but powerful message. It says, I'm not stuck, I'm rising. And nothing hits her. Ego harder than realizing she left a man who only got better without her. But this isn't about revenge. It's about self-respect. Your body is your temple. When you treat it like trash, you're telling the world you don't value yourself. But when you treat it like gold, you remind yourself and everyone else that you're worth more than heartbreak. And here's the secret. The gym doesn't just change your body. It changes your energy. It changes your discipline. It changes the way you carry yourself in every situation. That calm strength is magnetic, not just to her, but to everyone around you. So no, contact isn't enough. If you want to crush her ego, let your body speak. Let her see that she didn't leave behind a broken man. She left behind some one who only grew stronger without her. And deep down, she will regret underestimating you. 3. Sharpen the mind. Quiet. Confidence. Muscles get attention, but the mind holds respect. A man with a sharp body but a weak mind is still fragile. And when you're fragile, her ego thrives because she thinks he looks better, but he's still the same fool I left. That's why sharpening your mind is just as powerful as training your body. Start small. Read, learn, study. Not to show off, but to expand yourself. Pick up a book, take an online course, dive into a skill that challenges you. Growth of the mind is different because it's quiet. It doesn't need applause, but people feel it in your presence. When you grow mentally, your conversations change. Your words carry weight. Your silence feels stronger. You stop chasing meaningless validation. You start seeing patterns, truths, lessons, and that energy is magnetic. People respect it. Women feel drawn to it. Now imagine her months later sitting across from you or hearing about you from a mutual friend. She expected the same man who begged for her love. Instead, she sees a man who speaks with calm, with depth, with certainty. That burns because her ego wanted to believe you were stuck. Instead, she finds out you've grown into a version of yourself she can't even touch. This is how you crush pride. Not by shouting, not by flexing, but by becoming wiser. Knowledge makes you unshakable, and when you're unshakable, she loses the grip she had. 4. Change the crowd. Upgrade your circle. Your circle reveals your standards. After a breakup, most men shrink. They surround themselves with anyone who gives attention, and they settle for low-energy people, toxic friends, or casual distractions just to numb the pain. But what happens? She hears about it. She sees it, and her ego grows. She tells herself, he downgraded after me. I won. It's the best he'll ever have. That's why you must upgrade your circle. Surround yourself with people who challenge you, friends who push you forward, women who carry themselves with dignity, environments that make you better. When she sees you surrounded by stronger, classier, sharper people than before, it hits her pride because her ego wanted to believe she was your peak. But now she sees she was only a step in your story. The silent comparison cuts deep. She thought she was irreplaceable, but you replaced her with better company and better energy. And here's the truth. You don't even need to flaunt it. People talk, mutual friends spread the word, pictures get seen, and when she hears about you enjoying life with people better than her, her pride starts to collapse because suddenly she no longer feels like the standard. Changing your crowd isn't about replacing her, it's about raising your standards, and when your standards rise, her ego falls. 5. Turn pain into fuel. Don't waste it. Pain is power in disguise. But most men waste it. They cry in silence. They stalk her online. They replay memories. They let pain weaken them. That's why they stay stuck. And when she sees it, her ego grows because she tells herself, he still hasn't moved on, he's still broken over me. But pain, when channeled, becomes fire, it becomes fuel. The nights you can't sleep, the anger boiling in your chest, the emptiness you feel, all of it can be directed. Take it to the gym, pour it into your work, use it to build. Here's the secret. Pain creates focus. It shakes you awake. It forces you to change. Every great man's story has a chapter of pain. It's not the end. It's the beginning. And when she sees you stronger, sharper, more focused, she'll realize the truth. She didn't destroy you, she forged you. That's when regret creeps in because her ego wanted to believe she broke you. Instead, she accidentally made you unstoppable. 6. True indifference, the ego killer. Ignoring her is not the same as indifference. Many men block her number but still check her socials at night. That's not strength, that's weakness in disguise. True indifference is peace. It's when her choices don't touch you anymore. Whether she texts or ghosts, whether she dates someone new or comes back crying, it doesn't move you. That state of calm is terrifying to an ego-driven woman because her power was never in her presence. It was always in your reaction. The moment you stop reacting, the dynamic changes. She can't push your buttons. She can't control your emotions. She can't use your love or anger as fuel. And that's what breaks her pride. Understand this. Women expect men to chase, to beg, to break. But when you stand tall in indifference, you separate yourself from the rest. And her ego, the same ego that fed on your pain, begins to starve. 7. Live abundance. Choices over scarcity. Scarcity is the belief that she was the only one, that you'll never find better, that your life is incomplete without her. That mindset is poison, and it feeds her pride. But abundance is freedom. Abundance is living in a way where her absence doesn't shrink your life. It's building friendships, exploring, traveling, laughing again. It's proving not with words, but with actions that you were never dependent on her for joy. When she sees you living in abundance, her ego suffers because she wanted to believe she was your world. Abundance proves she wasn't, and nothing bruises pride more than realizing she was never irreplaceable. 8. Raise standards. Don't slide back. A woman's ego thrives when she sees you downgrade. If you accept less after her, she wins. She tells herself, I was his best. He'll never top me. But when you raise your standards in women, in friendships, in environments, everything changes. She sees you with people sharper, kinder, more respectful than she ever was. She realizes she's no longer qualified for your life. That silent comparison eats at her pride. Because the truth is, nothing wounds an ego more than being replaced not with someone equal, but someone greater. Raising standards isn't about revenge. It's about protection. It's about making sure you never fall back into the same cycle. But the side effect, her ego collapses because she realizes she didn't walk away from her best chapter. She walked away from the man who only keeps rising. Silence alone won't break her ego. Transformation will. Every rep, every book, every step you take toward building a better version of yourself is the real revenge. Not on her, but on the old you. Stop waiting for her to regret. Stop waiting for her to notice. Live in a way where her absence becomes irrelevant. That's when her pride shatters. And that's when you finally realize you never needed her validation in the first place. Brothers, if this spoke to you, don't just listen, apply it. Write I rise in the comments if you're ready to stop hiding and start becoming. And don't forget, subscribe for more raw truth about psychology, relationships, and growth. This is not about women. This is about you and the man you decide to become.